All right, let's get right into it. Selling your home is, well, it's a massive undertaking, and all the advice out there can feel like a lot. So what we've done is dig through all the noise, all the tips from realtors and sellers, and we've put together one clear, actionable playbook. This is your guide to getting it done right.
Feeling that pressure? That little bit of panic? Yeah, that's totally normal. But here's the secret. It's not just about working hard. It's about working smart. Having a solid plan, a structured approach, that's what makes a difference between a stressful, dragged-out mess and a smooth, successful sale. So, here's our roadmap. We're going to walk through 6 key stages. First, making that crucial mental shift from home to house. Then, we'll get into the art of subtraction, the big declutter. After that, it's all about the small fixes that make a huge impact. Then we'll tackle the online game, setting the right price, and finally, we'll talk about the ultimate payoff.
Okay, before you lift a finger, before you pack a single box, the most important work you have to do is all in your head. It's time to emotionally detach. You have to stop thinking of this place as your home. From this moment forward, it's a product, and you are getting that product ready for the market. Because here's the absolute core of it. A buyer has to walk through that door and in an instant be able to picture their life in that space, their couch, their family photos, their future. And if all they see is evidence of your life, it's 1,000 times harder for them to make that leap.
And this whole process has a name. It's called depersonalization. And honestly, it's your new secret weapon. It's all about creating this beautiful, welcoming blank canvas. By erasing the specific story of your family, you're actually inviting countless potential buyers to come in and start writing their own.
Let's get into the physical part. You know, if you ask anyone who's ever sold a house for their #1 tip, it's this: declutter. And then when you think you're done, go back and declutter all over again. This is how you create that feeling of space that buyers are absolutely desperate for.
Now, check out this brilliant strategy from a Reddit user named MadeMarian20. She calls it the declutter twice method. It's so simple. You go through every single room once. Then, and this is the key, you wait a couple of days. You let your brain reset. When you go back for that second pass, you'll see all the stuff you missed with totally fresh eyes. It's genius.
And to make it less of a total chore, she has this fantastic little trick she calls the 1-3 fling boogie. Every single garbage day, your only goal is to find 13 things to get rid of. Could be anything: old mail, a pen that doesn't work, a single sock. It turns this huge, overwhelming task into a really simple, repeatable little habit. So what actually has to go? Well, all the family photos. Take them down and swap them for some cheap, neutral art. Your kids' amazing drawings on the fridge, that calendar with all your appointments, the quirky magnets, pack them up. And this is also a really critical safety step. Get any valuables completely out of the house before you take any pictures. It just minimizes any risk.
You know, the best place for all this stuff is a temporary storage unit. And don't just think of it as hiding your junk. Think of it as a strategic move. Not only does it make every single room look bigger, but you're actually getting a massive head start on your move. You're already packing. It's a win-win.
All right, so with all the clutter gone, you can finally see the canvas you're working with. Now it's time for some smart enhancements. And listen, we're not talking about huge, expensive renovations. We're talking about high-impact, low-cost fixes that just scream to buyers this home has been taken care of. This slide just illustrates the transformation perfectly. On the left, you have your cozy, lived-in home, right? It's got your colors, your stuff. On the right, that's a buyer's potential future home. It's a bright, neutral space with clear surfaces and, no sign of pets, no matter how much you love them.
So where do you get the most bang for your buck? #1, always, is a fresh coat of neutral paint. It just works wonders. Clean the baseboards. Spend a few dollars to replace those old, dingy light switches and outlets. It instantly makes a place feel newer. Fix that annoying squeaky door. And please, don't forget the outside. Good curb appeal is what gets people to want to come inside in the first place.
And the one thing that ties all of this together is the absolute, non-negotiable deep clean. Seriously, hire professionals if you have to. Every sparkling faucet, every smudge-free window, it all sends this powerful subconscious message to a buyer that says, this place has been meticulously maintained. And that is how you build the trust you need to get an offer.
Okay, so the house looks amazing. It's ready for its big debut. And where does that happen? Online. Because let's be real, in today's market, the very first showing doesn't happen when someone walks through your front door. It happens on their phone screen. Your online listing is the first impression. You only get one.
And if you think that's an exaggeration, you have to hear this story. One seller's house was getting zero traffic, so they asked their agent to make one single change. Just move the beautiful picture of the backyard to be the very first photo in the listing. The result? Requests for showings literally tripled. Overnight. That is the power of digital presentation. So this means your digital toolkit is absolutely non-negotiable. Professional photography is mandatory. Using your phone is just not going to cut it. A 3D walkthrough tour is pretty much essential now, especially for out-of-town buyers. And you've got to make sure your agent has an actual marketing plan to get those beautiful photos in front of the right eyeballs.
Okay, you've done all the work, the mental shift, the decluttering, the fixes, the photos, everything is perfect. But it can all be for nothing if you get this last crucial piece of the puzzle wrong: the price.
I just love how one commenter, Wittgenstein's Boat, put it. They said the 5 most important factors for a quick sale are price, 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 and price. You just can't stage or paint your way out of an overpriced house. It is, without a doubt, the single most important factor. And here's why. A home that just sits and sits on the market, it starts to get a bad reputation. Buyers see that days on market number ticking up and they immediately think, what's wrong with it? You have to hit the market with the right price from day one. And that price has to be based on what similar homes have actually sold for, not what your neighbor is just hoping to get. Look, all this work, the packing, the painting, the constant need to keep things spotless, it's a grind. I get it. There's no doubt about it. It can really feel like a second job. But it is so important to remember exactly why you are doing all of this. This quote just reframes the entire effort perfectly, doesn't it? This isn't just a long list of chores. This is a short-term, high-impact business project. Every hour you spend right now is a direct investment that is going to pay off both in how fast you sell and in your final sale price. But even beyond the money, what's the real point of all this? Why go through this whole strange process of turning the place where you live into a pristine showcase for total strangers? Because all of this work, every single bit of it, is simply the most effective way to close this chapter of your life and launch yourself into the next one. That is the real prize. And getting there faster, with less stress, and with more money in your pocket, that makes every bit of this effort completely and totally worth it.